We are on Pei Bava Metzia, that Pei base Aman Aleph, down in the Gemara, about 10 lines down. Elamich Varta, Masnisin, Lo Rabbi Elazar. Therefore, our Mishnah, we'll have to say it's not like Rabbi Elazar because of the kasha from the Brisa that we saw that the Brisa told us that a Shomer Mashkon was a Shomer Chinam, and our Mishnah in the Reisha was teaching us that a Shomer Mashkon was a Shomer Zachar. So we weren't able to be yash of that. More suggests Lema bidlo shavi. Maybe what we're talking about is bidlo shavi mashkon shir zuze. Maybe the machlokis in the brisa between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Akiva could be talking. Maybe our Mishnah could be Rabbi Elazar the Reisha. Maybe the fact that we saw that Rabbi Elazar was holding in the brisa that the shomer mashkon was a shomer. Chinam was because they were talking in a case bidlo shavi mashkon shir zuze, that the mashkon that was given wasn't equal to the amount that the loan was worth. And in a case like that, bide shmuel mifligi, and they were Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Akiva were cholik in the din of Shmuel. Shmuel holds that if a mashkon is given less than the value of the loan, and initially given in that way, then if it can even be given as the payment for the loan, even if it's worth less than the value of the loan, and therefore, if the Malva will lose it, he loses his whole loan, even if he gave a loan of more, which is worth more than the value of that mashkon. So therefore, Rabbi Elazar would not agree with that. And therefore, if it was worth less, it can't be payment for the loan, and he would therefore it wouldn't be what he's going to get paid for. So he wouldn't be a shomer sachar; he would be a shomer chinam, and therefore Rabbi Elazar could learn that he's a shomer chinam. Rabbi Akiva says no; he can tell him that I gave you this mashkon for this loan. And even if the mashkon is worth less than the value of the loan, he could still say this is your payment, and therefore, according to Rabbi Akiva, he would be a shomer sachar. And that could be what they're cholik on. But in our Mishnah, we could be talking about when the mashkon is worth equal to the value of the loan. And in a case like that, then Rabbi Elazar would agree that he would be payment for the loan, and that the malva, who was a shomer mashkon, would be a shomer sachar. So Shmuel kamifligi de Omar Shmuel Hayman de Uzfei Alfa Zuze Lechaver, someone who lent out 1,000 zuz to his friend. Onach le kata de magola, and he lent him the handle of a magal, of a sickle, as the mashkon. Iluyayu. So it was given in a case where that handle was given, it's not worth very much. It was given as payment for the loan. So in a case like that, even if it was worth much less than the value of the amount of the loan, so Ovad Kata de Magola, Ovdu Alfe Zuze. Shmuel, if that was designated as payment for the loan, if he would get lost, he would lose his right to get the 1,000 zuz. So Gemara says, so that could be what they're cholik on. Gemara says they could even be cholik in a different case also. Ibidlo shabi mashkon shizuze. The Gemara says if you would set it up like that they were talking about a mashkon that wasn't worth equal to the value of the loan, we have trouble working it out that way, because we could also say that everyone would agree in that case, not like Shmuel, that it wouldn't be considered payment for the loan. Bidlo shavi mashkon shizuze de kuli ama leislu de Shmuel. We could just say that nobody agrees with Shmuel. We could also say, we just say that the machlokes between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Akiva is when the mashkon is equal to the value of the loan. And they're cholik on a different din, the din of Rabbi Yitzchak. Become miflige b'de Rabbi Yitzchak, and the Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Akiva are cholik on Rabbi Yitzchak's din. Tomer Rabbi Yitzchak, V'nayin lebal chov, shekoinu mashkon. Where do we know that a bal chov, the malva, that when he will receive a mashkon, that he is koine it, and he will then be responsible for it, even for onsin. Shneimar, because we have a pasuk that says l'chot yeh tzedakah. It's talking about a mashkon, when a person will take a mashkon and he'll give it back every night to the poor person. So it'll be considered tzedakah. How can it be considered tzedakah? Only if he owned it and he was then giving it back to the person who had taken the loan. So therefore, we see that a mashkon is kind of for all purposes, and this is what we want to say. Maybe it is equal to the value of the loan. The shaila is it considered that the malva owns it completely or not? So we would then be seeing. So im eno kind of mashkon. If you wouldn't be kind of mashkon tzedakah minole, how would it be considered tzedakah? So therefore, from there they want to learn mekan lebal choiv shekayna mashkon, that he is kind of the mashkon. They want to say that could be the machlokas between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Kiva would be saying that he's kind of it. That's why the Levi can say, I gave you this mashkon as your payment. You're kind of it. Rabbi Elazar would say, no, he's not kind of it. And therefore, he will be able to give it back and get other money for his payment, and he's therefore just a shomer chinam. But is it logical to say that that's what they're cholok on? That they're cholok on this din of Rabbi Yitzchak? Imor de Omar Rabbi Yitzchak. Maybe when Rabbi Yitzchak said his din, that a mashkon, the malva can be kind of the mashkon. Maybe it was said in the case b'mashkanu shelo b'shas halvaso. Maybe it's just when the mashkon was later given to the malva, because the lover wasn't paying his bill, his loan. Because that's what the case was when we look at that pasuk. L'chot tiyeh tzedakah. It's talking about when the shliach based and took it away from the loiva and gave it to the malva. So maybe it was there. Maybe therefore that's the case. And when that happens after the loan was given, and that based will take a mashkon and give it to the malva, that's known to be payment. That's payment of the loan, and therefore. That could be why he learns that it's kaina. But if the mashkan was given at the time of the loan, then maybe it won't apply. Maybe you can't say Rabbi Yitzchak's din. And that's what we're talking about in our brisa, because it says halvo ala mashkan. We understood that the mashkan was being given at the same time as the loan. So maybe we can't learn that that's the machlokes Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Kiva. That's what the Gemara says about mashkanu b'shas halvaso. But if the mashkan was given exactly at the time of the halvaso, mi omar, who would say that Rabbi Yitzchak would say his din in a case like that? Ela, we have to therefore say ela mashkan shelo b'shas halvaso. We have to say that if a mashkan was given later by based and taken away from the loiv and given it to the malva as payment, so then even we'd have to say everybody, Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Kiva agree. Kuli ama es lehu de Rabbi Yitzchak. Would have to then say that everybody would agree with that din of Rabbi Yitzchak, that if it's given over based and takes it away from the loiva, that it will be connected to the malva. So therefore, what would they be cholik on, Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Kiva in the brisa? We could be talking about, that's true, a mashkan given at the time of the halva, ubi shomer aveda kamiflig, and they're cholik on a shomer aveda. Rashi, where we are on the Gemara up about 6 lines. The Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Akiva would be cholok in Shomer Aveda. The time of the Rabbi Akiva that said that the loiva can tell him, I gave you the mashkon as a payment. So if you lost it, you're not going to get the money back that you lent me. The time of the Rabbi Akiva, Mishum, to Shomer Sachar, mitzvah, because he holds that. So in other words, what Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Akiva are not talking about a mal aloiva, malvin aloiva. It's talking about a person who is holding on to an aveda that he found for the person. Rabbi Akiva holds that he becomes like a shomer sacher for that person because it's a mitzvah. He's always taking the mitzvah of being shomer and aveda, and therefore he's the schar mitzvah, or the fact that he's potter from having to give tzedakah to an oni is his payment, and therefore he's like a shomer sacher. Shomer Aveda, the next Rashi says Shomer Aveda, Shemotz Aveda, he found the Aveda, V'achnisa l'tok beis, when he brought it into his house. So, Gemara says, to Itmar, Shomer Aveda, Rabba Omar ki Shomer Chinam. We see Rabba says that a Shomer Aveda is like a Shomer Chinam. He's not getting paid for watching the lost object. Rav Yosef Omar ki Shomer Sacher, that he's like a Shomer Sacher, and that's what we're seeing. That Rabbi Akiva was. So these are Amoraim. So that seems like what Rabba seems to be quoting the Shita of Rabbi Elazar. So he's making a statement that is a machlokas tanoim, clearly. But Rabbi Yossi seems to be saying like Rabbi Akiva. But is what Rabbi Yossi saying also a machlokas tanoim, or does Rabbi Elazar agree also when it comes to a shomer aveda to Rabbi Akiva? So one says, Lema the Rabbi Yossi Tanai. Maybe what Rabbi Yossi is saying that shomer aveda is like a shomer sacha, which was clearly Rabbi Akiva's shita. Maybe it's a machlokas, because we know that Rabbi is saying a statement that is a machlokas because he's quoting Rabbi Elazar's shita, and we know Rabbi Akiva is cholok on that. But is what Rabbi Yossi is saying that he's a shomer aveda is like a shomer sacher? Is that a machlokas tanoim or not? Does Rabbi Elazar agree with Rabbi Akiva or not on that? Tanai, Rashi says, Rabbi Yosef Tanai. Let's say what Rabbi Yosef said that a shomer aveda is a shomer sacher. That is a that's a machlokas tanoim. Daha Rabba, when he said that a shomer aveda is a shomer chinam, that's vaday tanai. Vaday tanai, that's machlokas tanoim. Daha Rabbi Akiva leisle the Rabba. Rabbi Akiva clearly has a different shita than that. V'leisle leukme pluktayu b'taima achris achrina. And we can't understand their machlokas being anything else. So it must be that for him to Rabba to say that a shomer aveda is shomer chinam, it must be that Rabbi Akiva is cholok on that. Because we've already gone through many different ways of trying to understand the machlokas of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Elazar, and we haven't understood. This was the only way that we can understand their machlokas, and so therefore we understand that Rabbi Akiva is learning that a shomer aveda is a shomer sacher. The hadron become a Tommy. We already tried many different ways to understand the machlokas. V'lo atukma el Rav Yosef, lo atukma el Rav Yosef. V'lo atukma. We didn't understand it in any other way, so it must be. But Rav Yosef is a question about when he says that a shomer aveda is a shomer sacher. Is that a machlokas tanoim or not? El Rav Yosef mimi boyel l'meimar tanai. To Rabbi Elazar, leisle the Rabbi Yosef. Are we going to be able to establish that Rabbi Elazar doesn't hold like Rabbi Akiva? So more says, Rabbi Yosef Omar, right? So lema the Rabbi Yosef Tanai, Lo. No, we don't have to establish it as being a machlokes. We could say that Rabbi Elazar really agrees on that point. Lo. B'shomer Aveda. Really, we could say by a Shomer Aveda, the Kuli Ama Eis Lahu, to Rabbi Yosef, that both Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Akiva both hold that a Shomer Aveda is a Shomer Sachar. So how does Rabbi Elazar? Therefore, what in this brisa where we saw Rabbi Elazar was learning that the Shomer Mashkon was a Shomer Chinam, what were they talking about over there? We're talking about B'malva tzorich l'mashkon. No, we were clearly talking over there about a halvuhu ala mashkon. So what were they? So therefore we established they weren't talking about the Indian of Shomer Beta, because even Rabbi Elazar could agree to Rabbi Akiva Lagabi Shomer Beta being Shomer Sachar. But in this brisa, they were cholik on B'malva tzorich l'mashkon. The Malva gives a loan and takes a mashkon from the loiva, but he himself wants to use the mashkon. And he wants that as he uses it, incrementally, that should be payment for the loan that he gave. But so then the shaila would be, do we consider him to be a shomer sachar because he has a mitzvah, he's still giving a mitzvah, or because he's getting benefit from the mashkon, therefore, he's not like getting the mitzvah. So that's what in these therefore he doesn't have the schar mitzvah, and he is and anything that he might not use, he would expect to get paid the rest of it from the loiva, and therefore it could still be considered. Do we consider him still a shomer chinam? That would be Rabbi Elazar would say he's still a shomer chinam. Rabbi Akiva says no, even though he's incrementally paying back the loan by using the mashkon. Rabbi Akiva would say he's still has the schar of the mitzvah. Rabbi Elazar would say he doesn't have the schar of the mitzvah because he's benefiting from using the mashkon. And even if he is still giving a loan, and he will still, it's still not considered schar mitzvah. So ma'asavar mitzvah ka'avid, that he's still doing a mitzvah, and that would be Rabbi Akiva, and therefore it's a shomer sachar. Shalvo, he gave a loan, the heavy shomer sachar, and he's a shomer sachar. But ma'asavar love mitzvah ka'avid, he's not doing a mitzvah. Shilahanoso mischav, and he intended to give the loan so that he get the mashkon and benefit from the mashkon. The heavy shomer chinam, that would be Rabbi Elazar. So that's the machlokas. Therefore, it seems that is the machlokas between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Akiva, and that really we don't have to say that Rabbi Elazar is cholik on our Mishnah. When our Mishnah says that a person who gave a loan is considered a shomer sachar, if when he's shomer the mashkon, he could be because he's going to be that will be payment for his loan. He'll take that as payment because he got the mashkon at the same time that he gave the loan. But the brisa that said he was a shomer, Rabbi Elazar learned that the shomer mashkon was a shomer chinam, is when he wasn't having the schar mitzvah, and because he was using the mashkon for his own benefit, and therefore he would just be a shomer chinam. But our ratio could be Rabbi Elazar. But the Mishnah said, Abba Shol Omer muter le'odam lahaskir mishkano shel oni. That our Mishnah learned that Abba Shol said that it's muter for a malva to take the mashkon that he received from an oni and rent it out and help the oni to pay off his loan with that rent. The ois peiches v'hoilech, to go be peiches v'hoilech. Later, Omar Rab Chanan bar Ami, Omar Shmuel, halacha ke'Abba Shol. That's the halacha that a malva can use the mashkon, rent out the mashkon and help the oni pay off his loan. V'af Abba Shol lo omar el b'mar v'pesel v'kardom hil v'nafish agrayu v'zoiter pachtayu. These are the only time you can do this, rent it out and get money for the mashkon of the oni is when it's something that doesn't wear out too quick. So something that you can rent out, you get money, good money for it, and when you get it back, you get it back almost completely intact the way you gave it. Right to Gemara, right to the Mishnah, new Mishnah, Hamavir chovis mimakom lemakom. A person was helping his friend, he was moving barrels for his friend from place to place. The shivara, and he broke them. So he was a shomer for his friend, moving barrels. So we say, whether or not he was a shomer, bein shomer chinam, bein shomer sachar, yeshova. Whether he's shomer chinam on these barrels or whether he's getting paid to watch these barrels, all he has to do after having broken them is to make a shvua that he wasn't posheya and he will be potter. Rabbi Elazar, Omer, also up until now it was Rabbi Eliezer, now it's Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar Omer Zebezeh Yeshova, that it doesn't matter. He said, Tanakama told us it doesn't matter whether it's a shomer chinam or a shomer sachar. Rabbi Elazar is saying, yes, that's the halacha that I heard, that doesn't matter whether it's a shomer sachar or shomer chinam. He can make a shvua and be potter. However, he doesn't understand why it should be that way. They both could make a shvua, because for a shomer sachar to make a shvua should not potter him because he's chayiv on gneva veda. The fact that he makes a shvua that he wasn't posheya, that shouldn't help him if he lost it or if it was stolen, because he's chayiv on gneva veda. But the tamiyah ani im yecholin zeh v'zeh lishova. He doesn't understand why both of them should be able to make a shvua. The shomer chinam he understands, because they're the only time they're chayiv anyway is on pshia. And so if they make a shvua that they weren't posheya, they could be potter. Zok the Gemara, Tana Rabbanan, Hamavir chovis l'chavero mimakom l'makom. We learn a person who is moving barrels for his friend, shivara, ben shomer chinam, ben shomer sachar, yeshova, divrei Rabbi Meir. If he, whether he was a shomer chinam or a shomer sachar, if it broke, he just has to make a shvua that he wasn't posheya, and he could be potter, according to Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi, which is like what we saw in our Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no, shomer sachar cannot make a shvua and be potter because he's chayav. The shvua only declares that he wasn't posheya, but he's chayav on gneva veda. Lo shomer chinam yeshova, no sachar yishala. If he's a paid watchman, he has to pay. He can't. The shvua will not potter him. Right, Rabbi Elazar Omer Zebezeh Yeshova, like we saw in our Mishnah. Rabbi Elazar said that they both shomer chinam and shomer sachar can make a shvua and be potter, and he was amazed. He was bothered by that. But tamiyah ani im yecholin zebezeh lishova, he was bothered how both can make a shvua and be potter. He only understood it by a shomer chinam. Right, the Gemara, Lemeimer Disoba Rabbi Meir Niska Love Poshehu, because we saw in that brisa above that Rabbi Meir said that if someone was carrying barrels from one place to the next and it broke, he just makes a shvua and he can be potter. So that means we're talking about that he tripped over here. So in the case, what does he make a shvua about? That he wasn't posheya. So if niskal, if tripping is being posheya, so then what do you mean? He just made a shvua that he wasn't posheya. So obviously the shvua that he's making is that he wasn't posheya in any other way besides the fact that he tripped. Because if he's not chayav because if he's not going to be chayav for tripping, so anything less than tripping he's not going to be chayav for. So he's making a shvua for that he wasn't posheya in anything other than having tripped. So we see that tripping itself is not posheya because he's able to get out of it just being potter by declaring that he wasn't poshay in any other way besides slipping. So that's a kasha because we have a brisa that says Rabbi Meir holds that niskal is posheya. Tani, we learn in brisa nishpara kada lo silko, that if a person was walking and he broke his vessels and he didn't pick them up and somebody got damaged on the broken vessels, similarly nofla gomlo below amid, if his camel fell down and he didn't pick it up and somebody got hurt on it. So Rabbi Meir Mechayev, Rabbi Meir is Mechayev behezeikan for any damages, because niskal, and the discussion over here between Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim was is niskal posheya or not. Rabbi Meir says chayav because he held that niskal is posheya. The Chachamim omrim potter, but potter medini adam v'chay b'dinei shemayim v'kay mulan the b'niskal posheya pliga, that the machlokas between them was about niskal posheya. So we see Rabbi Meir held that niskal was posheya. He was chayav. Amar Rabbi Elazar. You're right. We see here in this brisa that Rebbe Meir is learning that niskal is posheya, and we see in the brisa above, the Rebbe Meir says whether the person was a shomer after the battles broke, whether he was a shomer chinam or a shomer sacher, he just has to make a shua. Shows that he was learning that niskal is not posheya. So Rebbe Elazar says you're right. Is a steer between these brises. We have to split these brises. We have to say that whoever learned the first brisa and in the name of Rebbe Meir didn't learn the second brisa. It was like Amoraim learning the brises in the name of Rebbe Meir differently. Amar Rebbe Elazar, Tabra. We'll have to split those two brises. We'll have to say that the one who learned one didn't learn the other one. Misha shanazu lo shanazu. Zaktamor. For also Rebbe Yehuda Lemeimar Shomer Chinam Yeshava Noisasachi Shalom. And so what do we see? In our Mishnah, Rav Meir came and told us that Shomer Chinam, in the brisa, the first brisa, he came to tell us that Shomer Chinam would be able to make the shvua, and a Noisei Sacher, Shomer Sacher, would have to pay. Remember, Shomer Chinam Yishava Noisei Sacher Yishalom. So what does that end up being? That is being each one according to their din. A Shomer Sacher is chayev for Gneva Vaveda. So making a shvua that he wasn't poshay won't help him any. And the Shomer Chinam, he's chayev on Pashia only. So making a shvua that he wasn't poshay will help him. So that's what it meant. He was just saying the din of each type. Haiki dine, haiki dine. And then came Rebbe Elazar, meaning of our Mishnah, I guess. For also Rebbe Elazar lememar, ein gemor in gemor ki Rebbe Meir. Yes, gemor is like Rebbe Meir that said that whether it's Shomer Chinam or whether Shomer Sacher is going to make a shvua and be potter, but Rebbe Elazar didn't understand. Yes, Allah is like Rebbe Meir, but I don't understand why it should be that way. To me, so when we look at that, Bishlema Shomer Chinam, according to Rebbe Elazar, he understood Shomer Chinam could make a shvua because he's chayav on Pashia, and if he makes a shvua that he wasn't Moshe, he'll be potter. Mishtova, it's lo posha bo. Shomer Sacher, so Amai Mishtova, why should he didn't understand Rebbe Meir? Why should a Shomer Sacher be able to make a shvu and be potter? Kilo Posha Nami, even if he wasn't Poshe, he's Chayav on Geneva Veda. The Shulmi boy still has to pay. So he didn't understand Rebbe Meir. But Filu Shomer Chinam, even the Shomer Chinam Nami. Even a Shomer Chinam Nami that we say that he can make a shvu and be potter, that's only under a certain circumstance. Hatinach b'makom madiron, a place that's slanty, and then you can make a shvua that he wasn't Poshea and be potter. Shlo b'makam midron, imatzi mishtava to lo posha. But if it was a flat place, and how can he be allowed to make a shvua that he wasn't Poshea? Obviously, he was Poshea if the animal tripped in a flat place. Obviously, so how can it work according to even with a even with a shomer chinam? How will it work to be potter with a shvua that he wasn't Poshea in a flat land? It won't help him. The shvua won't help him. He won't be believed. He was Poshea. And even, and we're talking in shomer chinam, even in a case where it's slanty and he could make a shvua, could possibly be that it could slip without him being Poshea. So he said that he makes a shvua that he wasn't Poshea and he'll be potter. But even there, when it's slanted, nami hatinach hechad leika raya. The only time we can say it'll work out that he can make a shvua and be potter himself that he wasn't Poshea when there weren't a lot of people around there that saw what was going on. But if there was a lot of people there that could be aiding about what was going on, then the person's not allowed to make a shvua to determine what happened when there are eidim available. So, but whenever there's people available, you can't rely on a shvua. So you're supposed to bring the raya. Nesei raya, you're supposed to bring the people we need potter, and that's what could potter him, but not a shvua. The Tanya Isi ben Yehuda, because we learn Isi ben Yehuda Omer, Ein Roye Shvuas Hashem Tie Ben Shneim. That only when there's no edim will a shvua be used to determine what happened. But if there are people that were likely to have been there, that were there and saw the event, you can't use a shvua to potter oneself. So therefore, so even that which Rebbe Elazar said, that it's Rebbe Meir's shita, that whether shomer chin or shomer sachar, they just have to make a shvua. So he didn't understand why it should be like that. Rabbi Yehuda said it depends on each one's, according to their din. That a shomer chinam could understand that he could make a shvua and be potter, but Rabbi Elazar added. So that's why Rabbi Elazar has kasha on Rabbi Meir. How can a shomer sachar make a shvua and be potter? But even on shomer chinam, it didn't make sense in all cases. Only in the case where it's possible that it could slip without him being Poshea, like in a slanty place. But even in a slanty place, it depends on whether or not there was people there to be aiding, because then a shvua wouldn't have helped him anyway either. All right, and we'll stop here.